Okay, this video is on the Paxos agreement protocol, and so this came in the 1980s. It was a solution for consensus, though it was not addressing the Byzantine generals problem. The Byzantine fault tolerance solution from the last video, and you can think of the faults it was designed for, or along the lines of sabotage, where Paxos is just dealing with how to reach consensus in a normal computer failure and a quick reboot. So back to our radar example. Byzantine fault tolerant is addressing overcoming extreme bad behavior in a node, whereas Paxos is not. And and again, the Byzantine case, you have a hacker or someone who has access. They're going to send wrong, erroneous, conflicting information. They're purposely in there to try to break consensus or otherwise just attack this team of nodes. And I guess, side note, this could actually, there are a few cases this could happen with, like a disk drive crashing, though it's not common, though it could happen even without a hacker. So to contrast with the normal failure, it's just your computer is just gone from the process for a bit of time. So for the Paxos example, we only need 3 nodes for this example, and that's because Paxos works so long as less than 1/2 of your total nodes are non-faulty, or more than half of your nodes are, or at least half of your nodes are operating correctly. So compare this to BFT. You need more correct nodes in the fault tolerant solutions, and really Paxos is just ignoring the Byzantine problem. And this is intentional. It's by design. The Byzantine problem is much more difficult to overcome. You might only need that complex of a solution in very serious situations, like defending the United States homeland from a Soviet attack, like very serious situations. It's costly, it's complex, whereas Paxos is more simple. And just the general idea is, if you hit some kind of extreme failure in your Paxos protocol, you have just some kind of creative workaround to get through it, and you're going to have some impacts, but they're generally acceptable impacts, specific to what your architecture is meant to do. And like the practical BFT, Paxos does have leaders and followers. It wasn't originally referred to as leaders and followers, or backups, but that's basically what it was. And now getting into the phases, here the leader sends out the value. So all the nodes received the value from the radar station. And this one, during the initial setup, was identified as the leader. The leader is going to send out the value that it has. But the other nodes are not sending anything at this point. And in the promise phase, these are the backups, responding back to the leader saying, hey, we're listening. We anticipate a new piece of data is about to get updated in our state. So we're all agreeing to participate now as a team to get this updated state. They're not sending values, just kind of more of like an echo check back to the leader. So in this phase, the leader says, all right, now that I've heard back from you guys, or I've heard back from a majority, here's the value I have. Please accept this value. So all the nodes are going to, they're going to answer this question. They're going to embrace the leader's request. They're going to send the value that they have. They're all nodes are going to send the value they have to all the other nodes. And while they're in the process of doing this, each node is waiting for a majority of like values. So take Hawaii here, for example. So it has this initial value that it received from the radar, H. This is the correct, green circle value. And then in the accepted phase, it has heard from Anchorage that I've accepted the green circle value also. So of the 3 nodes, Hawaii knows that there is now a majority. It has 2 matches. So by majority rule, this green circle is the correct value. and the nodes know we all have the same value, and each node knows the other nodes have also reached the same conclusions, also known as shared awareness. So they, at this point, they have distributed consensus, so each node's going to go in and they're going to update or append to their database. So the protocol works for this situation. Say we have, this is what the protocol is designed to overcome, that we have a node that just disappears for like half the process. It just crashes and gets itself back on track. But even when this happens, so in the accepted phase, we only have 2 working nodes for this process, but each working node is still going to get a majority rule of the correct value. They're still going to reach this, 2 times F matches. And I failed to mention this earlier. We take this for granted nowadays, but Paxos also stated that you had to have data storage that would not lose your data in case your computer crashed and had to reboot. Basically, your data is saved on an external hard drive. So now, looking at if the leader failed, slightly more involved logic, but the short of it is other nodes have indicators or warning signs that they watch for. And if the leader were to fail, the backup's going to take over. And as this process now unfolds, this node is treated as the leader, this node is a backup, and this node's a backup, and this node's just treated as a fault, like we just saw in the previous example. And the team is still going to reach distributed agreement. So the inventor of this guy, he gave the protocol the name Paxos. He was the inventor of this protocol. He gave the name Paxos. He was just a very creative guy, and he invented this entire story about a government body, a parliament, from a very long time ago on an island, on the island of Paxos. So this whole story about it, and about the governing body. So within this government, any legislator could propose a law, and also any legislator could come and go. This was a very busy coastal city. Legislators didn't like being there. They had business to attend to. And this was essentially a legislator, crashing and then having to recover. And the name of the paper was Part-Time Parliament. But this governing body, as long as they had more than half present, they could still vote and still get majority consent, and they could still pass new laws. And then each individual legislator in this fashion could come and go to meet their business needs, and they could also, come back and catch up on laws that they missed. So every person had an accurate copy of this ledger here of all the laws that have been passed. And it's the same concept we went over in the first part of this video. The aircraft signature data coming in, and the data being appended over time. It's the same thing as the laws being appended over time. But generally, people and students, they found this analogy way more cumbersome than it was helpful. And nowadays, you're going to see this protocol, most often it's laid out like this. So Paxos is a consensus solution designed to overcome essentially your routine computer crash and reboot. And as long as you have less than half of the nodes crash, a majority of your nodes will still reach consensus.